In this video, we're seeing some different areas of Lower Ontario, including Toronto, the Georgian Bay, and Niagara Falls. To kick off the trip, I have an airline-caused delay and find myself in this random hotel in Long Island City. Delta didn't really give me many options, not really even anything near the airport. It was really late and the exterior seemed a little sketchy, but it was actually extremely clean, and that's really all I need in a hotel. Not much outside. It's not really an ideal New York City vacation. Okay, it's like maybe 5 hours later and I'm back at LaGuardia for the early morning flight. This just made me actually want to visit New York. I'll have to come back for real. And a little under 2 hours later, I get another awesome view of a different city, and that is Toronto. The main purpose of this trip is to visit one of our Canadian sites for work, which is about 3 hours from Toronto. So I picked up my rental car and hit the road. I became a major fan of Tim Hortons on this trip. I know it's used here, but the metric system really caught me off guard. It's the first thing that made me really think about how this is actually an international trip and I'm not in America. I'll be staying in Collingwood, which is this cute little ski town. It is unfortunately the wrong time of year for that though. I'm staying at the Holiday Inn Express, which is really nice and brand new. I'd actually gone to work already, but I just skipped it for the video since it's boring. Now, let's go check out this foreign city. Yes, I'm going to Walmart. But wow, actually, look how different this Walmart is from American Walmarts. And why is everything red and yellow? The entire makeup of their international section is solely German. Alright, for dinner, let's check out the local fast food cuisine. I opted for a to-go order from this place called Swiss Chalet. Ah yes, poutine and rotisserie chicken, very Swiss. And of course some French TV.
Mi fa piacere che lei dice questo perché in effetti siamo un po' preoccupati. Non per fare gli affari suoi,
The next morning I get some Tim Hortons again before work. They are so fast and it's so cheap. And after work we had dinner in the cute little ski village area, and the restaurant was an Irish pub called MJ Burns. I ordered a seltzer and they brought me a tea. It must have been the language barrier. Okay, here's the actual seltzer. And for dinner, I got the Dublin Bay seafood pie, which was really good. My time here was pretty much solely focused on work, but I enjoyed it. On my last day in Collingwood, I stopped at some various places along the bay for the views. I got Tim Hortons every single day. This latte was under $3 US and it had a great taste. And with that, my work here is done, so I'm gonna head back to Toronto and explore the city a little. A short 3 hours later, I've arrived. I'm staying at the downtown Holiday Inn. It was okay here, mainly about the location. For dinner, I went down and right next door was this great udon place. And afterwards, I walked about 10 minutes to get to the Yonge-Dundas Square, which is Toronto's version of Times Square. And after about 3 minutes, I'm gonna head back to the hotel. I'm ready for bed. I will say, I think Toronto is a great place for global cuisine, especially Asian. There are so many international options here. I really only had Japanese food, but I'll say I've been to Japan. My neighbor is Japanese and cooks for me all the time, which is really nice. So I will say this stuff was authentic. Also, I didn't have time to visit this area, but they had a whole street of Nepali food, which I've never seen anywhere ever except for maybe Queens. Soon enough, I'm back at the hotel. Next morning was also a work day, but remote, so I got up a little early to do some exploring before I had to log in. The first place I went to was Phillips Square to get a pic of the iconic Toronto sign. Right next to Phillips Square is the beautiful Old City Hall. From here, I walked about 15 more minutes and arrived at the Berczy Park, which has the best fountain that's ever existed anywhere. I love that all the dogs are facing to the bone at the top. It's such a cute place here, and this is where I ended up doing work for the morning. So not a bad spot to work from at all. Then for lunch, I walked about 5 minutes over to the St. Lawrence Market. This place had a ton of vendors with fresh produce, meats, cheeses, and bakery items. On top of that, they had just regular food stand types of places as well. I ended up picking this Japanese place, and I got a bento box. Now I'm gonna take it back to that little park to eat. From here, I walk about 15 minutes over to the CN Tower. I don't spend a ton of time here, but it's cool to see it up close. And right next to this is where the Toronto Blue Jays play. Alright, and now time to go back to the hotel. I already checked out, but I need to take the rental car back to the return since today is technically the last day of the work trip. So I take some calls from the car and finish out the work day, and then I turn around to pick up a different rental car for personal use. So I had no idea that I had reserved an EV. It was just what was the cheapest thing, around 40 Canadian dollars for the day. I have absolutely no clue how to operate this thing. What do I do? I don't know how to work this. Soon I get on the road towards Niagara Falls. I'm staying at the Clifton Victoria Inn. It was relatively inexpensive, and I had a Hotels.com reward, so I think I only paid around $25 for the room for the night. It's definitely a little dated in these rooms, but again, it's clean and that's all I need. Now I'm walking towards the falls to see them at night. It's kind of cool to think that I could just walk back to the States from here. It's about a 30 to 40 minute walk from the hotel to the falls. I decided to walk up to this Clifton Hill section, which is a very touristy area. Think Gatlinburg of Niagara.
Especially through the torture chamber of the pit and the pendulum. Don't lose your head when you brush up against the guillotine.
For dinner, I'm gonna do a Krabby Patty. I saw a lot of negative talk about this meal, but I thought it was a really great burger. I don't know, maybe it was just the Canadian Wendy's has higher quality standards. And it came with a pineapple frosty. Now to continue on to the falls, which is about 15 minutes away. The light show on the falls is really spectacular. I'm waiting for the nightly fireworks show, which starts around 10 p.m. I think it's unnecessarily late because it's been dark for hours. But I'm gonna go inside and sit for a bit because it's just a little too chilly outside. And then the fireworks show begins, but over there, not at all near the falls. I probably wouldn't have even messed with the fireworks if I had known they were gonna be all the way over there. It's so late, I'm just gonna start walking back. I mean, it is really nice that they have it every night throughout the season. It's the next morning and I'm gonna grab some breakfast from down there. Afterwards, I'm gonna walk down to see the falls in daylight. It doesn't feel as flashy as it did at night. I was thinking about riding the Hornblower from the Canadian side or just for fun walking over to the US side and hopping on the Maid of the Mist, but I've done that boat ride before already. It's really cool, especially if you're only able to see the falls from the US side, but since I'm on the Canadian side, I'm happy with the views that I've seen so far. So now I'm gonna head back to the hotel, grab the car, and head towards the airport. On the way back, I did stop at these outlets, specifically for this very famous Canadian brand, Lululemon. On top of it being an outlet, with the exchange rate, it is an extremely good deal. About an hour later, I'm back in Toronto and on the way home. Back through LaGuardia again, they do have the best lounge here.
Look at him, he's a baby.